How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Hope everyone's good and everyone's well outside of Arsenal, because I think inside of Arsenal there's a lot of frustration, hope, and everything else in between. You know how the fan base gets during times like this. But we're going to talk about it, as always. James back in the building, Lee back in the building, and if you do suffer from epilepsy or anything like that, because I did see a couple of people in the comment section mentioning that, then Jordan is back with this lighting again. He apologizes. He does say it's the last time that it will be this situation, as he sips his tea, smiling. But yeah, we're all back in the building. Listen, I haven't caught up with any of your fan cams thoughts. We've had a brief conversation for a couple of minutes before going live on the recording. Someone was a couple of minutes late, but we can get into that later, when it's time for the league table, and I can get the opinions and thoughts of the comment section, like said individual got the opinions and thoughts of the comment section when it was me. I'd like to see if it's a fair jury like it was then. But before that, jury, Mr. the Arsenal jury.
Scrap, aren't we?
It's the Arsenal jury.
This geezer. This guy is muting me now. He's absolutely. This guy is just incredible.
Since we're here, I mean, just to let the people know, Lee was 3 minutes late. 3 minutes, and he explained the reason in the group. And I'm going to tell you lot the reason. The reason was, Lee. Do you want me to tell them, or do you want to tell them?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad reason. I was watching.
Tell them.
I was watching Match of the Day, and the Spurs and Ipswich game was on, and I wanted to watch the end of that. And
okay,
I'm glad I did.
Okay, so Lee wanted to watch Tottenham, albeit capitulate, instead of making it on time for the podcast. I wonder what the fair jury in the comment section below thinks of that. Let me know.
Understanding. I think it'll be understanding.
Let me know. And we have Jordan, who he was part of that jury, who takes 3-4 minutes to get his lighting done and his camera set up. So I don't know if you can call that on time or off time.
What's the point of getting here on time? Like, he's moving around. He freezes more than an icicle.
I don't know.
I know what's going on here, because I got the prediction correct. You're looking for any excuse to try and bring a brother down. Any excuse to try. I want my star. Turkish. This season, I want my star.
Okay, you're going early there with a star after game week 11, but here I am saying the league's over after game week 11. So yeah, we'll talk about that prediction stuff when it comes in. James.
Also, I can't get out of my head how much it looks like Jordan's lying on the floor and like looking up at his camera like that. It looks like you're like this. Like, I don't know if it's just.
I'm sat up. I'm on the bed, but I'm sat up.
I know, but I can't get out of my head now. It's like you're just.
That's the feeling.
2024, isn't it? You know what I mean? Unbelievable.
Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, let's get on with it.
How are we feeling, everyone? Like I said, I haven't caught up with thoughts here. Lee, we always start with you because you're at the game. I've seen your fan cam, a bit of it actually. Well, a clip of it. And that part I disagree with, but we're gonna get into it all. So talk to me.
Yeah, I love mixed feelings.
Lee.
Yeah.
Sorry, just before you come in there, I just wanted to say before we all kind of give our thoughts. I don't know if I've been so confused about my feelings about a game of football so much.
Yeah.
I was really utterly confused. And I will explain why, but I just was wondering if that I think Turkish might have had a bit more clarity.
No, but you know when you go to a game, it's very different. When you're at a game watching it in person, it's very different to watching it on TV.
Yeah,
I think that's 100%. But Lee, talk to me. Atmosphere. Obviously, we're on a bad run as it was going into the game. Was everyone up for it? Was everyone nervy? How was everyone feeling?
Yeah, like it was. I think it was a little bit of apprehension in there. I have to say, like, I've had a good day today. Like, you know, it was. Well, it started off as a good day. Like, you know, I went over football. We won at football today, and then we had the card. I won some money at that, so it was all going well. Then I watched Tyrese get the winner for Sheffield United. So things are going really well. Like, then I get the news that Spurs have lost at home to Ipswich, because all my Spurs mates were going, oh, like, want it to be a draw, so we'd be third in the league come the end of the day, and all that, like we're above you and all that. Of course, they've lost, so everything's going well. And I thought, right, this is going to be it today. And I've watched the game, and I've had a little look at some of the comments saying, "Oh, you've been watching a different game and all that." Like, I thought we was worthy of the win. If I'll be honest, I thought we played really quite well, considering we're away from home. This people keep going on. Oh, you got to go over and have about 18 shots against teams that are like Chelsea fourth in the league, by the way. Decent. So I've got to say, some decent players in their team. Decent team. So got very, very dangerous on the counter attack, I thought. And I felt we was very unlucky not to go in at half time 1-0 with the Kai Havertz lovely free kick, by the way. Everybody expecting us to launch it in, and good bit of improvisation there. I thought that was good. Very, very unlucky to go in 0-0. But but in saying that, I've had a look at match of the day. They had the better chances in the first half. If to be honest, didn't realise how good those couple of chances that they had. Second half, we gets in front. And then I honestly felt when we went 1-0, I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I honestly thought that, that's it. I think we was going to win it 1-0, maybe 2-0. There was a couple of minutes after that when I thought that they was on the ropes, but they dug in. Then they got an unbelievable goal. And I felt from that minute on, we was going to lose the game. I don't know if that may have come into it or whether. I just thought, I just turned around to Julian and I said, like, they're going to nick it. Right at the end, they're going to nick it. And I just felt that something was going to happen in it, and then my word, I felt we come on well in the last couple of minutes. Great little move to get where we got. And Trossard should bury it, shouldn't he? And we could have ended up winning the game. And I just don't know how I feel, guys, because Manchester City are having this blip and we've made 1 point on them. For 2 defeats, actually, 2 points in 12. It ain't good enough, is it? 9 points behind Liverpool. Is it too much? Probably is, if I be in the context of it all, if I'll be honest. So I'm walking away thinking, is it a bad point, again, to go to Stamford Bridge and not lose? But disappointed in so many ways, Odegaard come back and was a difference, but don't think we've done quite enough, if I'll be really honest, to win the game.
I'll keep my thoughts till the end, because I could go off at any moment, because I do feel like 11 weeks in, the one that I really wanted is already, as you said, it makes me sick. Made 1 point on Man City, 2 defeats in a row, 2 out of 12. Come on, it's not happening. We have to be immaculate, and on top of that, we have to be immaculate, and the other 2, and it still is the other 2, because we're still 4 behind City.
Yeah.
The other 2 have to have a drop off, and it has to be a drop off. Well, City have already dropped off in comparison to seasons before, in the form they're in. But we know how they are in the second half of the season. You can't put it past them to turn it up. They've got the experienced players for that. Like Liverpool have the experienced players to run away with it if given an opportunity. They play Man City at Anfield in 2 weeks. We're going to all hope and pray for a draw if we beat Nottingham Forest. And if we beat West Ham away before that, I think both games will be before that, definitely Forest. But at the end of the day, what is it, 9 points on Liverpool, and their goal difference is healthy. Still early to talk about goal difference, but all round Liverpool do look, a few weeks ago I would have said I'm not overly impressed. Now I am quite impressed, because since then a comeback win against Brighton, a smoking of Leverkusen, a draw at the Emirates. They're picking up, and their defense looks good. The attack scoring, Salah's still crunch time. Salah, Diaz is picking up goals. Jota's been out, but still they move. Alisson's been out, still they move. So it is worrying. But I say worrying, for me, it's over. So I think the worry now is the Champions League. But we're going to talk about the game, because I'm going off on a tangent already, because it's just, sorry people, more time I'm thinking about the bigger picture than I am individual. Sorry.
That's because the bigger picture is what matters. So I was saying, when Laurie was asking on AFTV, I said, you know what? You could forget the context. You could take a lot of positives from this. I thought, Chelsea are a much better side this year. They've got some really good players. I thought we did do enough to win. Actually, I mean, we didn't win, but I think we created some really good chances. You think Martinelli threw on goal in the first half. You think that cross from Saka that Marino just misses. You think of the moment at the very end of the game. There are a few other moments. Havertz slightly offside. Jesus was offside, and Trossard blazed it over the bar. I think this was better from Arsenal. I think there was some, Ødegaard made a difference. I thought the subs kind of worked. Trossard, I mean, I know he kind of blasted too, but I thought he did quite well against the fullback. Marino came and looked quite good. But we're 9 points behind. So I'm gutted. I think in so many other contexts, playing pretty well, deserving to win at the Bridge, you would go, okay, annoying we didn't win, but good point, on we go. But I just can't feel that way because we're 9 points behind Liverpool. I just can't. I was dejected at full time. I was really, really down about it because I just felt that was the title. So that's where, you say you can't look past the bigger picture, Turkish. I completely agree. I think that's where most, if not all, Arsenal fans are. Do we all agree that was a significantly better performance than Inter and Newcastle? I mean, Newcastle was a nightmare. Yeah. But I mean,
not significantly for me.
No,
I think not significant. But
chance
you are right.
Creation was up there. Control. I felt we had them, especially in the second half. I didn't really think they got near our goal, except for when they did and they scored. But like, I thought there was lots of positives, but it just doesn't matter. I know that's so like, it doesn't. We were 9 points behind Liverpool. It just ultimately wasn't enough. I thought Newcastle was a disgrace. I thought Inter was full of effort but no quality. Whereas I actually think we showed quality today. I actually think we showed something, but doesn't matter. Like, we needed to show more and we needed to win the game, and we didn't.
I don't like. I don't understand. Listen, it can happen. We've got a new manager coming to the league. He's top of the league. I look at Liverpool and I look at them capitalizing, and I just think that's meant to be us. And listen, I know there's a lot of opposition, and this is not entitlement for me. This is what I mean in terms of our trajectory. We thought, off the back of the last 2 seasons and the way we're going, if we had the summer I thought we should have had or would have had, then I'm looking at Liverpool right now thinking that's where we would be. And maybe Liverpool would be thereabouts with us as well, because that's taking nothing away from them. But it's a new manager's come in, hit the ground running. Maresca's also come in, done pretty well with Chelsea, but all of a sudden it's essentially, for me, it feels like a gap has been closed, because I'm looking at the way Liverpool or the way City have won their league in terms of Liverpool's sense, and look at what they used to do to us year on year on year on year. And I'm not, listen, Chelsea, they haven't beaten us at the Bridge since 2018. But today, did you see a team out there that thought this is our, title hopes on the line, on the wire? Did you see a team in that last 15 minutes? Listen, we should have won it in the end with that Trossard Havertz thing. We should have won it. I don't know what's going on there, but from minute one, it didn't. The first 10, 15 minutes, Chelsea had more control, I think. Then we got into the game, 15 minutes, we had it. Then 10, 15 kind of back and forth. Second half, I think Chelsea started the better. Then we got into it. And I think James is right. For the rest, we were the better side, created the better opportunities, but Chelsea created good opportunities themselves. So I think a draw is a fair result. But we shouldn't be like, I needed to see more heart, more risk, more desire. Odegaard come in and it still felt quite stiff. It was more, I agree with you, we created more chances, but I think off the back of Odegaard coming in, that's a given. But it still felt, it still wasn't fluid for me.
We didn't throw everything at. We didn't throw everything at them. That was another big frustration of mine. It's not just the 9 points behind. It felt like a must win, and I don't think we treated it like a must win in that last 20 minutes.
No,
that was another big frustration of mine. But sorry, Jordan, I've talked loads. Carry on.
Yeah, interesting, man. On the game, I think, all right, I think we probably edged it slightly. But I also think a draw is probably a fair result. I don't think we edged it enough for me to say that was a game where we definitely was on top and deserved to win. We had the better chances for sure, and I think it is an upgrade on Inter. But yeah, you used the word significantly. I don't think it was significantly better. I just want to flag two players really from the game that I think are important to mention, because I think a big part of why I feel let down is because these two players, they didn't deliver. And the first one is going to piss people off, I know, but I don't care. It's Martinelli. It's Martinelli. I don't understand. Maybe it's a lowering of standards, but this conflation of someone scoring a goal, and not playing that well. The two things can be separate, right? You can not play great and score a goal. I don't think he played well today. I don't think he played well, but I think a lot of basic people will be like, "What are you talking about? He scored a goal." It's like, well, he scored a goal. Do you remember a game about 2 years ago at Brentford where Vieira scored an absolute banger? I think we won the game. Vieira, he scored a
3-0.
like, 3-0, right? And he scored a banger. He was awful. He was actually rubbish, in my opinion. He was not good. But everyone was saying, "Oh, he was great, he was great, he was great." I was like, no, he wasn't. He
But
scored a
with
great
this
goal.
one, Jordan, yeah, I'm not gonna walk off. Don't worry. The whole attack was poor. The clip I actually saw from Lee was Lee saying Saka and Cucurella was a draw. That was no draw. The whole attack was poor.
I've not finished. You're right. You're totally right. I just want to start with Martinelli because I don't want this thing to creep into our fan base whereby just because someone scores a goal, that's seen as enough. He didn't play well today. He's threatening, touching the ball, a step over, dropping the shoulder, but he's not beating his man. He didn't play well today. Bukayo Saka did not play well today. He was absolutely locked off by Cucurella. I don't rate Cucurella. I think he's a bang average left back. I know a lot of people think he's brilliant. He won the Euros and all that. I do not rate Cucurella. I think he's an average left back. It's not the first time he's clamped Bukayo Saka, by the way. It's not. Bukayo Saka today was not good. And I just feel like in a game that for me was a must win, your bullets, if you like, in Odegaard back in the team, I just didn't feel that they stepped up today. I just don't think they did. Look at Neto. I thought Neto was, of all the wings on the pitch, he was by far the best winger.
Who's a bullet?
Odegaard. I was saying Odegaard is the supplier of the people.
Odegaard's the magazine. We've got rubber bullets up top. Let's be serious here.
Right.
We ain't causing no damage. Yeah, we're trying to keep the peace.
All right. Yeah, my gun analogy didn't quite work there, but you get what I'm trying to say. The person that supplies, right, the Martinelli and that. I don't think either of our wingers were poor, and I don't think Martinelli will get criticised today because he scored. But I think he should be because he wasn't good. He just wasn't good, and I think that contributed as to why we didn't another level up. Our attackers and Kai Havertz, okay. He was okay.
Nah, I thought he was poor. I thought he was rubbish, Kai, actually. Look,
go on.
I think he was unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate. He's offside. But you know what? You know, it was a nice turn and a good finish. He was off. But that's it. That's kind of the only moment he had. I was really... Because he was back up front now. I made the excuse for him when he was playing in this hybrid Odegaard striker role, whatever, that didn't work out. But he had everything he could have wanted to thrive in this game. I don't think Fofana and Colwell, as much as I rate them, are the most physical centre-backs he's come up against, because he's played up against Konate and Van Dijk and others who have been a lot more of a handful, really. But he just never really imposed himself on the game. And Saka, for me, struggled. I mean, Martinelli, I don't think had a good game, but I thought he's weirdly probably the best of the front three. I think he might well have been. That doesn't say a lot.
It's a low bar.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least he held his run for the goal, took the touch and finished it near post. I mean, he had that moment.
Yeah.
But aside from that, the front three, not good enough. And listen, Odegaard, I feel like we were struggling to get him on the ball in good enough positions for a lot of that game. That's why I mentioned the fluidity. I'm not going to say Odegaard. I'm not going to put Odegaard with the other attackers and say it was another, blunt performance, because it's his first game back for how long? It's a big game. It's an away game. It's, it's a lot of pressure. But he didn't get the ball as much as I thought at least he would have. I can't even look at that game and say fitness or anything. It was more he didn't get the ball where I wanted him to. Sorry.
That was Vareska Turkish, I think tactically they did really well in stopping the ball getting to him.
Like
So
Palmer and Partey, and the way we handled, in my opinion, it seems similar.
Exactly. So I think that was less about him being rusty. I just think it was more about them identifying if you can stop him getting the ball in that kind of second third of the pitch and turning and getting his head up, you're going to go a long way to stopping Arsenal kind of having any joy. And the one time he did do it, we scored. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was more tactically praising them than I would criticize.
Actually,
if that makes sense. Go on,
I just got something wrong though. Havertz actually did play a big part with Ødegaard in the build up to the goal. I thought some of the hold up play and they're looking after the ball between Havertz, Ødegaard, Partey that then led to the goal. I thought that was really good, but that was it. Outside of there wasn't really much from the forward players. But you know what? Like, you know, we fell short in those ways. But I actually thought Thomas Partey was running the midfield. I thought he was the best midfielder on the pitch. A lot of people were. Who would you put up?
I think he was very good. I think Caicedo in the first time in particular bullied every single player on our team.
He was just running into people. He was just charging into people. I don't think he ran the midfield.
I thought he had a good game. He ain't bullied no one. He ain't bullied no one.
I think Partey was the one who looked like head and shoulders above the rest for me.
All right, okay, I've gone a bit OTT there. Agree, but in that first half, he definitely imposed himself as much as anybody on that pitch. But you're right, Partey was very good.
Yeah.
You know, like, sometimes you have to give other teams credit. And I thought Cucurella was absolutely outstanding. You know what I mean? Like,
he got man of the match on Sky.
Was he man of the match?
Yeah. I have to say, I thought
it was a fascinating battle. Fascinating. But every time he got the ball sack, he sprinted wherever he was to get to him. And then once he sprinted to him, you have to be really clever with that, because if you go too far, he can skin you, and he manages to stop. I thought it was a fantastic battle out there. You know what I mean? And I remember, like, years ago, that there was the Ashley Cole Ronaldo one, like, you know, and it was a fascinating watch. And do you know what? 9 times out of 10, if you're right on your game, you're right on your game as a fullback, you will be the better. You will come out on top. It's the law of averages. It's easier to defend and attack. So it was. I thought it was a fascinating battle out there. He won it. He probably did, at the end of the day, he won it. But there were times when Saka, I felt, got in some good crosses and was dangerous. The cross that he put in for Marino was just so unlucky.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a good battle. I think that defensively, Chelsea were really at it. With the two holding midfield players protecting their back four, by the way, never really went out of really going for it, did they? Like, you know, their front three, their midfield three. I didn't think that. I thought Caicedo was very, very good in the defensive areas of the field. But I felt that Palmer, by the way, the best thing since sliced bread, well, you know what I mean, was as quiet as anything. I didn't really see him coming there. So I think they cancelled each other out a little bit, like, you know, Declan Rice done well for 70 minutes and then, you know, obviously the injection didn't work, run out. But I thought Thomas Partey and Caicedo, like, you know, if we'd have got Caicedo, I think that would have been an unbelievable signing for us. I really do. I think he was good. I don't think he was bullying people in there. Different sort of players. I felt there was at times when Thomas Partey was just dictating the pace of the game, you know, and to be able to do that as a midfield player in a game like that is unbelievable. He played that game at his pace, which was brilliant. Like, I thought, like, you know, everybody keeps going on, like, you know what I mean? You got to go over to Chelsea. By the way, they're 4th in the league and run all over them. It don't work like that. You know, they're a decent side.
We had to come back, but we had to come back with a bang, though. I think talking about a good performance, really, it's a damning blow. Like,
didn't you see that on TV? Like, didn't you feel that they were dangerous on the break? So you had to be a little bit cautious because they had some dangerous players.
But I think
they always look today. I felt uncomfortable going forward because I thought, oh, they're going to hit us on the break. I don't know if you see that in the game.
So have we been found out, James? Like, say what you're gonna say, and I'll answer this for me. Do you lot think we've been found out a bit now? Do you think
maybe? Maybe a little bit. I think So what shall I answer? Shall I answer what Lee was saying or your question? It's a good question.
Now go to do Lee's and then we'll get into that.
What Lee was saying there, I just agree in like almost any other context of the season, which is like,
But I know what you're saying. Yeah, I get
you
that.
know, it really is just where it's left us. I think in so many other situations, I'd be relatively happy with that. You know, they're a good side. Maresca's made a good start. They've got loads of really expensive footballers. A lot of them we wanted. You know, Neto, Lavia, Caicedo. And we had the better chances. I think on another day we win that game. On another day, I don't think we ever deserved to lose it. But the point was, what's the difference between 10 and 9 points, really? And don't say 1 point. What's the difference, really? It feels
Right.
too far.
It's 1 point.
You know, could we have just I hate you? Could we have just got Zinchenko on that pitch to try and do something? Could we have rolled the dice with Nwaneri? You know, you just wonder, did it not feel like with every attack there was still but don't concede? It still felt as much as we were better, as much as we were creative. Did you see White bombing on to support Saka? I think part of the reason Saka was probably losing that battle was Kukurea never had to worry about anyone else coming over on that side. You know, Timber, I think, actually has some good moments where he strode forward. We mentioned Martinelli again, but did Martinelli have again a much help? I think everything we're doing is always with a attack, but don't concede. Yeah, no, go try score, but do not concede. Like, and I think if that had been the final day of the season, we just would have rolled the dice more. And in a lot of ways, that felt like a little bit of a cup final. You've got to win this, and we didn't.
So James, do you think that Mikel Arteta thinks that? Do you think he's thinking this is a must win, or do you think he's thinking it's a must not lose? And if we can get out of a point, we're going to try and win it. But if we can get out of a point, that's a point gained on City. It's 10 games into the season. It's early.
If that's what he's thinking, then he'll be gone real soon. I'll tell you that much.
But I'm wondering if the game reflected his thinking.
I think managers genuinely only think about their own jobs and what they're doing in their own game. I think we, and you know, as fans, and we banter with other fans or whatever, I think we think so much about not just what we're doing, but what others are doing and how it impacts. And you know, if we lose a game, it's crap. But if we lose a game and City also lost that day, well, it's a little bit better. I think Arteta is purely thinking, forget where we are, Stamford Bridge, I want to win. This is the best way to do it for me. And that means stopping what Chelsea do, but also trying to play your football. And I think we wanted to see more of throw caution to the wind, try and do everything you can to get those 3 points. Because ultimately, does a draw leave us any better really than a defeat? Not really. It just, the optics are slightly better. You know, you huffed and puffed and you got a draw, and a draw at the bridge is all right. But really, we're not much better off. I think we could have, if we'd won and we'd closed the gap to 7 or maintained the 7-point gap, that's still too far. It's probably still too far to catch. But I don't know. I think if we'd made a statement and won at the bridge, there'd be a sense of, all right, 2 weeks off and then the chase begins. But, you know, with the games we've played or whatever. But now it just feels a bit like another game we haven't won.
James, I know it sounds silly, but we played a lot better today than we did against them last season.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree.
We only got a draw there last season. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. Like,
we were lucky last season.
We was very lucky last season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and didn't deserve anything from the game, but we didn't. But today, I think we deserve something from the game. I know, like that, but I totally agree with you. There's this feeling as you're walking out the ground, everybody was the same, James, is what you're saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really know how to feel about it. Like, you know, and
it wasn't enough
today. I think we needed to win today. I think we all. I don't think it's over at this moment in time, but I know it's clear. I said if we win today, I think we could still win the league. I genuinely believe that. I don't think we win the league now. I don't. And do you know what? I think 9 points can be gained off of Liverpool. I think they can draw a couple of games, lose one here and there. The 4 points on City is still. That's the one I wanted. I wanted that down to 2.
I agree.
Liverpool look bloody good.
Liverpool do look good.
Questions.
But can I just say something? Which is really bugging me a little bit over the last few days. A few weeks was that when people are turning around. Is it embarrassing if if Liverpool come above us now? Isn't it embarrassing? It'd be embarrassing Liverpool come. I never heard that 2 years ago when we was going above Liverpool. No one's sort of going. It's embarrassing for Liverpool that Arsenal have gone above them. Isn't it embarrassing? You know what I mean? Like you should be challenging them now. Why? It's embarrassing. I don't see it as an embarrassment. You've got to give Liverpool credit where credit's due.
It's because they won things. It's because they got there. They got the title. They got the Champions League. They won trophies. And you know what? They had a blip. They realized they need to change the midfield. And in that time, Arsenal grew into that role. What we're saying is that we had the opportunity to add and grow and get better and finally leapfrog City. Only we're not even worrying about leapfrogging City right now. I mean, that's part of it. But the major chase is with a club that didn't spend the money they wanted to this summer and changed the manager. And we felt that there was an opportunity there. And that's what I get what you're saying, Lee. Liverpool are no mugs. Like they've still got all these fantastic players. But if Liverpool win the league this season, it will feel like a major missed opportunity for Arsenal.
They was in for a title in the title chase up until
see you later.
Us.
Liverpool win the league. See you later.
What, to Mikel?
Yeah, see you later. That's unacceptable. What, you think man waiting 5-6 years for that to happen? What's the excuses next? Because going up against juggernaut Man City with greatest of all time Pep, it's very different circumstances if Liverpool go win this league. I'm not even saying it's acceptable that City go on and win it after the way they've started it. But what I'm saying is, for us not to capitalize off what I'm seeing from Man City and not being in and around the position Liverpool are, it's embarrassing. We're on the same points as Chelsea, Brighton, and Nottingham Forest. We're 1 point above like Aston Villa and Newcastle. We're not too far off. We're 4 off Man United.
Yeah.
I don't think people are deep in the situation that we're currently in. Because today was all about getting the 3 points to still believe we can win the title. The next points dropped, if it comes before Man City or Liverpool, then people that are asking top 4 race, there's a lot more, like, there'll be a lot more valid with it. It's a joke for now because of where we've been for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's tight. In and around where we are is tight. We could have been 6th today, 9th today. We could have been 7th. We could have been 3rd. That's how tight it is. We shouldn't be in and around those names. Not this season.
We've got to go and win our next 10 games. Simple as that. No excuses. We've got to win 10 games. See 30 points in the next 30.
Haven't won since October.
But that's what we've got to do. We've got to do. Do I think that we're going to do that? No, I don't think this team's capable of doing it. Like, you know.
Yeah,
it's interesting when people say. I often hear this thing where Arsenal fans say, when they ask the question, "What's today a title killer? Are we out of the race?" And you have two sides of the fence, right? You have those that say, "Yes, we're out of the race. The gap's too big. We're not good enough." Blah blah blah. And on the other side of the fence, you have people that say, "No, it's November, or it's only 10 games. What are you on about?" Now, I'm on the side of the fence that says I think it's very improbable that Arsenal come May will be champions because I think the gap is too big now. But my rationale for that is to the people that say, no, it's only November. The date is not important. The amount of games played is not important. What's important is looking at the data, look at the evidence. The evidence suggests that for Arsenal, as Lee's projecting, to now win the title, they're going to have to go on an insane run. Now, look, Arsenal in the last 2 years have gone on insane runs, right? So we know that it's possible. But even in those 2 years, we came second. We're also thinking Liverpool are 9 points ahead. Will Liverpool drop? That's 3 defeats, right? Will Liverpool lose 3 games between now and May? Probably. They probably will. But that's alongside Arsenal being perfect. Never mind what City will do and them getting out of their funk. So I just always find it funny when people say, "It's November. What are you talking about? It's early. It's early." This is not the Premier League of the noughties, where 5-6 defeats, you can win a Premier League title. Albeit City are in the mud at the moment, but you don't get to lose 5 games anymore and be Premier League champions, as the evidence is laid out. So I don't think it's hyperbole for people to say the title race is over. But it's only November, because look at the data, look at the evidence, look at the numbers, look at what we've got to do to become to be first come May. That's a massive ask. You have a very small window of maybe 2 defeats after March if you're 5 points on the top of the table. We're there now. We can't afford 2 defeats now, and it's November. 2 more defeats I'm talking about. So I just hearing people talk about it's early, don't worry, don't panic, it's early. I'm like, it's not about the time. It's about what the last 3 or 4 seasons have shown us. The margins are fine, and we've eaten up all of our room for error, in my opinion. The room for error now is 0.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Arsenal will put some kind of good run at some point together, and I think we'll get some wins this season that remind people how good we are. And I think we'll play football that gets to a level where people go, "Oh, serious team." But I just
It's no
think
pressure FC, James. Sorry to cut you. It's no pressure FC. We're gonna do our run once we are out of the title race, which is what we always do. And this is the reason for me why we're faltering. We can talk about tactics, players missing. We can talk about all these things which are valid. For me, the single biggest reason Arsenal are faltering is because we are proving we cannot handle the expectation of being a title-winning Premier League title-winning team.
we
just
won
can't
games
handle the
under pressure last season, though. We won games under pressure last season. Well, in the running, we had to go to Tottenham, we had to go to
Last
United.
season, we weren't expected to win the title.
Yeah, it's stale. I actually think last season, Jordan, the expectation was to either win it or take it to the last couple of game weeks at the very least, because the season before the expectation was top
Not
4
this
and we
year.
challenged. Not this year, but what I think's happened is the transfer window. Teams have study us. We've played them a year. They know what it is. They know what to expect from Havertz. They know what to expect from Martinelli. They know what to expect from Saka or the midfield and the combination and the defense and who inverts and whatnot. All of that was fresh in the last 2 years. So it caught people on the back foot, right? And it produced an elite level. The points tally last season, the goals tally, the goals conceded, it was elite, but it wasn't enough. If it doesn't matter if it's elite, if it's not enough. How do you build on that? Because other teams have been studying you for a year now. They're gonna come back better. You know, they're gonna hope to come back better. And so far this season, we've seen that in the first 11 game weeks, we've lost points in 6 of those game weeks. So I think we've gone awfully stale. I think I actually remember James talking about. You might have been in the summer. It might have been in America. Maybe it's not a video. You talked about Trossard, the impact he had last season, coming in when Martinelli wasn't performing, right? And you mentioned, can we do that again this season? When it comes to crunch time at the end of the season, do you think we can rely on Trossard again? Because teams will be, they'll know more about him and they'll be more wary of it, right? Instead, what do? We start fucking playing him week in, week out. So it's not even a case of will they find out, have they found a way to limit his production in the final third come the end of the season. Forget that question, James, because we've thrown him in there, starting in, week out. I'm not saying he started today because he didn't. But what I'm saying is this is where we've left ourselves. Trossard's not a scary attacker. Havertz is not a scary attacker. Martinelli is not a scary attacker. Saka is not a scary attacker. Saka's quality, but he's not scary. We have no fear factor in attack, and teams have found that out. A lot of games you win it off the pitch before you even walk onto it. And when you create the runs and the level we've created over the last 2 years, teams are wary and they can be susceptible because they know you're the better side. But when teams start seeing you open up a little bit, start seeing some weaknesses, start seeing that they can take stuff off you, this is what, that's part and parcel of it. So we've dropped off in quality and numbers, in my opinion, because numbers is quality as well. You need numbers, because how you selling Emile Smith-Rowe and not replacing him? And people say you wanted Smith-Rowe gone. I did want him gone, but I didn't want no one in return. And when you're seeing him score goals, and when you're seeing him assist, and when you're seeing an attacking mid that actually bursts into the box, and you see what we've produced with Odegaard out, you wonder why, right? When you see Vieira, who for 2 years we was hoping he was the one to fill Odegaard's boots if we ever needed to, out on loan for nothing. I ain't gonna forget this shit. People can tell me to forget about the window all day, not no more. Be excited. 2019, 2025 in 40, 60 days or whatever. Fuck off, Josh.
That's why when people were saying to me, when I was calling for a forward, they're like, well, if there's not one on the market, what are they going to do? I thought, but just getting someone different can play
Liam
a part.
Delap, bro. Liam Delap even. You look at him, it's Chris Wood. We don't have a striker. And look at the names I'm saying. Best believe if we bought them in the summer, I'd be vexed. But best believe would be in a better place now in terms of options with them here. Madness. Madness. That's like me saying Eddie. We might as well have kept Eddie. Look, there you go. Yeah,
You know,
we backed it. We, you know, it wasn't me, but a lot of Arsenal fans backed Eddie, backed him to what? To what? Now he's at Palace. It's forget about him now. On to the next person to back, which is Havertz now, or Trossard, or Martinelli, it's always sorry, James. Go on.
Well, I've not always agreed with the criticism of the recruitment. I think we've spoken about this lots, and you know, Sterling was by far not the signing I wanted. I felt we needed to go big in the forward. I understood why we brought Marino in. I thought Calafiori made sense when we needed a left back. So I wasn't hating on it as much, but I was really disappointed we didn't sort of spend money and bring some sort of quality in the forward line. But I think what I learned this weekend, I was watching Brighton Man City, and I just, you just turn on the game and you're watching it and you go, okay, that's the team. You know, they got this Jorginho Ruta guy up front with Welbeck. Got midfield of Ayari and some other guy. I can't remember who it was. And, well, they're running around. They're quite busy. Yeah, they want to make a change. They bring on Carlos Baleba. My word, he looks a player. He'd play some football for us. They need a goal. They bring on João Pedro. Like Minte, who was one of their big signings, wasn't starting for whatever reason. Adingra's out on the right. And I had a moment where I went, Brighton have a better squad than us. Like, and I'm saying that quite flippantly. I probably need to look into it. But I was like, oh my God, they've brought on more options to change the game against Man City. And then that's when you do start to like wonder, like, man, we might really be ill-equipped here to go the distance. We laughing at Jordan.
Sorry. It's true. It's just true.
Let me look at the Brighton. Let me look at the Brighton squad.
I was going to say, would you take their set of attackers for our attackers,
mate?
What, strikers?
Just attackers in general.
They didn't bring on Julio Enciso. I mean, I don't know how he's doing. We know he's talented. Evan Ferguson's meant to be one of the most exciting young players, young strikers. He didn't get off the bench. They brought on Baleba, O'Reilly, looks a good player. João Pedro came on. They started with Ruta and Welbeck up front. Now, I'm not saying I really want these players at my club, but I was thinking, I can't remember the last time I got really excited for Arsenal to make a sub to change a game. I can't remember, let alone actually watch them make a difference to win a game. The last time I was excited and thought, yes, bring them on. One area actually, but 17-year-old who doesn't get the chance. Yeah. So there's concern around the squad there for sure.
I think it's about we've got the squad that we've got, right? And there's definitely a time and a place to have a chat about our recruitment. I think our recruitment is the thread, arguably, as to why we're struggling, okay? But I think it's now about what does Arteta do with the players that we do have? The attackers that we do have, they've just got to do better. And Arteta, if he can't get more out of them individually, he's got to tweak the system to get more out of them. Because, James, you're right. We created more today than I've seen us create in a very long time. But it's still not enough. And it feels like in a game that was a must-win for me, I just didn't feel like Saka and Martinelli and Havertz were just banging down the door. And then, as you say, when that wasn't happening, you look to your bench. All right, Trossard had a couple of chances he probably should have scored. But Jesus, I was done with Jesus months ago. Jesus isn't doing anything. There's not even anything on the bench then. So he's got to find a way to get something out of these guys, because right now it's looking bad. And even the Forest game, can anybody here say hand on heart they're confident we're going to beat Forest after the break?
Yeah, absolutely.
I say we need for what? I don't even think we can win the title, but we need 6 out of 6 in the next 2 because Liverpool plays City. So and this is me trying to find a light at the end of the tunnel again.
Yeah.
But the reality
that's what fans do. I mean, we've got to do that. That's normal. That's we've got to.
I don't think we should do that though. I think we've got to win a game. All this, we've got to win 3 games in a row, 10 games. We've got to just win the first game, then win the second game. It sounds basic and it sounds really stupid, but we need to win a game. Do you know what I mean? We just need to beat Forest and then beat West Ham and then see where we are when we go to Old Trafford. Is that home or away? It's home, sorry. The Emirates, whatever it is. We've just got to win a game because right now our record ain't looking good. This is not a team, as Turkish was saying earlier on, if we don't beat Forest, we are well and truly in a top 4 scrap. I don't care what anybody says. And that is embarrassing. Embarrassing. In the next game.
It's already embarrassing, man. It's actually already embarrassing. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I don't understand. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
To be on the same points as some of these teams that, we thought we moved far past, and it's 11 games, but one more game, 2 more games, we're a third of the way through the season.
What
only
you say
11.
embarrassing, so it's what being 4 points off City is embarrassing.
Being 9 off Liverpool's embarrassing.
Yeah, but
I don't care.
Everybody's
I
9.
want
Everybody but
first.
City's 9 points off for Liverpool.
Lee, Ipswich could be first. I don't give a fuck who's first.
Yeah,
I want
ain't about
first.
being first now, is it?
I'm looking at Liverpool at the top of the table.
We've been
9 points off.
We've been better off than Liverpool.
When this season?
Not this season, but in the last couple, we was 8 points clear with a.
That's why it's embarrassing, Lee.
In February or March.
That's why it's embarrassing.
Just see how it goes. You've got to just go with it now. That's how I see it. I don't. Listen, if Liverpool go on and do what they've done, Turkish, it don't matter what. No one's going to catch them. You know what I mean? They've won 9 out of 11 games.
But we knew going into the season that's what we had to do. Like, we know this. Like, that's what. So, and the expectation was we're going to do this.
We've had a lot of different fixtures to them. The fixtures have been kind to them to a certain degree. But in saying that, they've smashed everybody that they've come across. Which, apart from Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. So you have to give credit, a little bit of credit where credit's due. The rest of us have all failed.
Yeah, that's what's embarrassing for me, Lee.
I get that. Aston Villa are in 9th in a minute.
You said 4 points off City, but I get that. But initially you said 4. I don't care about City in second at this moment in time. I'm looking at first. Who's first? Because even looking at City losing 2 in a row, like you said, and only making up a point on that.
Oh, I get that.
That's embarrassing as well. But when you consider the level we're meant to be at.
I think you've got to look at it in another by Christmas and see where we are. I do without going. And if we're still in the same position, then you got to go into it,
9 points, a better goal difference, and we've got to go Anfield.
Yeah, but they can draw a couple of games. Yeah, we've got to go up to Anfield and win. Liverpool have got Man City coming up. They've got Tottenham away coming up soon. Like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden they could drop 6 points there, right? And then all of a sudden you're 3 points behind them. If you win those couple of games, 3 or 4 games, Arsenal have got to win. I agree with what Jordan's saying. Nottingham Forest. I ain't putting a lot of money on that Arsenal win that game, but they've got to. They've got to win that game by hook or by crook, and then they've got to go and beat West Ham, and they've got to go and beat Man United. And in those 3 games, Liverpool would have played Manchester City and Tottenham. If they're still 9 points in front of us, you have to hold your hands up. But if they're not, it could be game on.
That's the issue, Lee, for me. It's not that I don't think Liverpool will drop points. I think they will drop points. And you're right, they could lose to Spurs and City. That could very well happen. That wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I just got no faith that we can win our game.
No, I get that.
You know what I mean?
I get that. And I think, even in January, like, get a different sort of striker. We've all said that, you know what I mean, that they need a different striker to Havertz, you know what I mean? Like, Havertz is your false 9, isn't he? Like, you know what I mean? If you, that sort of thing, like, we haven't got a real number 9, but I think that you've got to get a real number. But I mean, love and behold, Manchester City have got the best number 9 in the world, and they've lost 4 on the spin. It's not always about that, like, Manchester City, by the way, should have been 4-0 up at. Who did they play yesterday, bro? Should have been 4-0 up. And they've got strikers and everything like that. It should have been 4-0 up. If that had been Arsenal, they'd have been like, that's good.
But Lee, that in of itself, the point you've made there is what makes us look even worse, because you're bang on. They game in midweek against Sporting. They should have been 6 up. The amount of chances they spurred to win that game, they lost 4-1. So although they're losing games, at least they can say we're creating lots of chances, and we know the worm will turn eventually and they'll get those goals. Up until today, we're not even creating chances. we can't say we've been a bit unlucky.
I get that. I get what you're saying, John, and I get that. But like Gary Neville said a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Arsenal should beat Brighton and Arsenal should beat Bournemouth with 10 men.
He didn't actually say that. What he said was that we were making the point that despite going down to 10 men, if you've got aspirations of winning the title, you can't use that as an example.
Manchester City have lost to both of them with 11 men. Let's see how quick he's about that then. Like, should they have 12 men before they should beat those games?
No. It's a slightly unfair comparison.
But you know what I think about
City have got titles in the bag, so they can afford to have.
So what?
Season.
What's that got to do with it? What has that got to do with it? They've got titles in the bag.
Different.
No.
The pressure's different. If you're used to winning titles, if you're used to winning titles, when you go for a
you shouldn't lose the ball. If you're winning titles, you shouldn't lose the Bournemouth for it's football. Things happen in football. There's no guarantee that you should win titles every single season. There's no guarantee you should win it. What gives us the right to say that we should win the title? You've got to earn it. You've got to be able to earn it. And if you can't earn it, then that's it. Hold it. But don't turn around and say, the pressure ain't got that. At the end of the day, the pressure. The felt that he should go out. He felt that he could win the title with what he's got. If he doesn't, it's all. Then you go onto it and say to him, right,
I'm just making the point. The pressure's different on us and City. City have got titles in the bag. Therefore, they expect them to win the title this year. If they don't win it, it's not a big deal. We are 20 years deep. It's supposed to be a big club. 20 years. James ain't seen a title. 20 years. So I'm saying the scrutiny on them, if you like, having a year off is very different to us having another year off. That's what I'm saying. And the point that was making.
We're having a year off now, then, are we? We're having a year off, are we? We've had 2 years.
What it's meant to be, though, what it's meant to be is, look,
it's unbelievable.
Year on yearly, City, in my opinion, have regressed since the treble season. Year on year, summer where they lost Mahrez and Gundogan.
We said that they were going to do that. Getting older and all that. We know that.
But when that is realized on the pitch, when we see Man City this season and the poor form they've been in, and the drop points against a Brighton or a Bournemouth or whoever we're mentioning. That was for us now to capitalize because our trajectory was meant to be the other way. And maybe last season it was at a crossroads where game week 38 it was tight, but City yet year on year haven't adequately strengthened in the summer. We should have, or so they said we did. So really the trajectory should have been, all right, see you later for this season. We're going to go take it if it is realized on the pitch that you have fallen off a little bit. And it has been realized, but Liverpool are the ones that are taking advantage of it.
Yeah, but
that's what's frustrating. Bournemouth was embarrassing, I think, Lee.
You've got to look at
Arteta against Bournemouth.
We've had key injuries to certain players, like, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And also, I'm going to say this now, key players that are not at the level of last season. Declan Rice is not at the level of last season because he was flogged all summer, like, if I'll be honest, you know what I mean? And he never missed one game last season. He started every single Premier League game. He's missing games here and there all the time now. Ben White, the same. You know what I mean? Like, Odegaard's missed more games this season than he has in the last
But that's our problem, Lee. That's our problem. Huh? That's our problem. That's not their problem. That's our problem.
Yeah, well, of course it is. Who said it wasn't our problem?
That's not an excuse. Flagging that we've got injuries and key players out. So what?
What do you mean, so what?
City
City had no injuries, they'd be where they are, Jordan. Do you think they'd be where they are if they didn't have any injuries? It's the way it is. It's a fact. It's something you can't cover up and can't turn around and go brush it aside. I'll tell you what, if Man City had no injuries, they'd be winning this league comfortably. But they've got injuries. That's why you've got this. Unfortunately for us, we've got injuries at the same time. If we didn't, we wouldn't be where we are now. Simple. We didn't have injuries last season. That's why we had such a great season.
I agree, but I'm just wondering why people mention our injuries. Because everyone has injuries, so that's a leveler. You've got a Ballon d'Or winner for the year.
I think it's outrageous that Mikel mentions it like, you know what I mean? I think it's terrible. It's disgusting. I don't know why Pep mentioned it yesterday. I ain't got a clue why he mentioned it, but he did. Why can he mention it and not us? Well, because he's won 4 titles in the last few years. He's entitled to it. Oh, we can't say nothing.
I don't think anybody should. I think injuries are just like, deal with it. Everyone has injuries. City's got injuries. Liverpool have got injuries. We've got injuries. It's a moot point for me. It's a so what for me.
We'll see how. If for instance Liverpool in the next week, Salah and Van Dijk go out of this team, right, and they're out of it for a considerable few weeks. Let's see how good they are.
They've got the best keeper in the world out injured, and their best finisher.
They've got a very good goalkeeper to replace him.
He said they got a very good keeper to replace him. But again, Lee, I stressed that.
That's good recruitment then.
This was the season we
but they haven't got a great player to replace Van Dijk, and they haven't got a great player to replace Salah, have they? Do you know why? Because they're their key players. You know what I mean? Everybody keeps going, oh, let's replace Odegaard. He's not easy to replace, as you see today. You know what I mean? He's come back after, I don't know how many weeks, putting a performance like that. It's unbelievable in my eyes. You know what I mean? I've been watching and playing football a long while. To be out for so long and to put in that sort of performance today from him is incredible. But why? Because he's an incredible player. And you can't replace that.
Yeah. I'm struggling. Sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding the point. I just think that when people mention injuries, whether it's our manager or their manager, I just don't understand. I just don't.
You can tell
it's a key factor, isn't it? It's a key factor. If we didn't have had those injuries, right, do you think we'd be where we are now?
But again, my point is, you think if Rodri and De Bruyne weren't out injured,
exactly,
struggling.
Of course they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't.
But we had to take advantage this year, so we should have protected and backed up as adequately as possible in the summer, which is what we didn't do. That's what we should have done because, you know.
Who are you going to replace Declan Rice with, Turkish?
It's not my job to know that. Like, Declan Rice isn't
you've got an opinion. You've got an opinion,
but like,
and I respect your opinion.
No, I get
my
that.
opinion is who's going to come in and replace Declan Rice? Because he hasn't been the player that he's been.
But for example, like Declan Rice, I think we all agree is a better 6. And if everyone was playing in their positions and we had 2 players for every position, I think then we have 2 8s. So I think Rice then potentially starts and Partey's the backup, or Partey starts and rotates with Rice, or we've got a double pivot there if we need to. That's even an area we don't talk about much, but because we haven't got the adequate number of 8s, or Marino hasn't hit the ground running, Rice is still occupying that. But the reality is, it's still fitting people into different positions. It's not only Odegaard we haven't backed up. We've barely got an 8. We've just brought one in. He hasn't hit the ground running, fair enough, but we've got 1 8, no strikers, 1 10. What? How? And the backup to Saka's a low knee. What, when you're trying to overtake Man City for the title? So yes, they've had injuries, and yes, they've fallen off a little bit from last season. I say a little bit. Right now, it looks more than a little bit. But again, no excuses. We should have been the ones taking advantage. But in the summer, this club showed yet again that they're not willing to adequately prepare.
They bought 2 players and have been injured straight away. Calafiori, he's had 2 injuries. Marino's had an injury.
But you know that these 2 players don't fix the problem that we're facing.
No, I'm just
like, Calafiori might look good in the magazine, really, and he might play well in left back, and he might do well in left centre back. But that's not what we needed this summer.
This summer, we
needed attacking. Like, we needed at least 2 attackers. Let alone we keep on going to 1 striker because it's like we're banging our heads against a brick wall, asking this club to do what they should do, because they've only done it for 1 summer, and that was the summer before, and even then. The option they decide to go with for the highest paid player is
maybe what we should have done is not buy Marino. Maybe we shouldn't have bought Calafiori and gone and bought the striker.
100%. I would have taken that over that.
Well, I'm watching that Nottingham Forest game today, Lee, and I'm watching Isak. And I'm thinking to myself, I just hope. My first thought was, I hope Arsenal are doing a deal to get that wrapped up for the summer now. So by the time the summer comes, like Declan Rice,
it's not how we work
down the line. And then I remembered we haven't got sporting director. Who's doing that deal? Who's doing that forward planning for the summer, knowing that we need a striker? Who's doing that? We don't need a striker from now. Who's doing that forward planning to ensure that come summertime, when we finish first, second, third, 10th, we know we're going to fill the holes that were needed to be filled this season?
I'll be real though.
Who's doing that?
Isn't Arteta the manager? Now, wasn't I told 5 years ago when Wenger said this traffic light thing that a head coach works under a sporting director, technical director, but a manager doesn't need that because he manages everything? Well, Arteta went from head coach to manager. So what does that mean then? I don't get it. Like now the manager, what's going on? Arteta has a lot of say in what goes on. So I expect him to have identified the striker.
And maybe like when that Osimhen come up, which is a loan deal, by the way, he decided to go for Sterling. So that's on his head.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like
easy option. Oh, Raheem, come here, man. Why not? Oh, they're gonna pay 150k. We'll pay 100. Oh, come on. The fans are gonna love that. Hella retweets. Oh, Sterling's getting paid more by Chelsea than us. Yeah. And what happened? Hella retweets. Fans hanging off the balls of some of the things this club do. Stop all that, man. I'm tired of it. But we've gone off on a tangent. We've gone off on.
Maybe this is why Edu's gone.
I was gonna say.
I think
we've gone off on a complete different rant and vent and everything. And James just sat there quietly and I don't know what he's thinking.
James, sorry.
We are an hour in.
I honestly, I don't know what I'm thinking about the conversation. Some really good points have been made. You know what I was doing just then? I was actually looking at Liverpool in the 2021 season. Because I seem to remember them like really pulling away early, and then they actually fell off so bad because they had like this ridiculous injury crisis. They dropped basically into top four race, not for Alisson scoring a header in the 96th minute at West Brom. It actually didn't look like they were going to get top four. So and I just looked by match week 14-15, City were 5 points off Liverpool. They ended, I think, winning it with 84, 86 points. So it wasn't. I guess I'm saying all this to say, only look at us 2 seasons ago. We were, as Lee said, 8 points clear of Man City, and they clawed that back. What Arsenal need to do, and we'll do it because we're fans, what the players need to do is just almost like not even look at the table, not even think about it. It's just got so bad. Just win a football match, right? 3 points. Win another. Then you win 3-4, and then see where you are. That's what we did after the bad run, the West Ham, Fulham, all that. Obviously we drew at Anfield. What we did is we beat Palace, then we beat Forest, and we got the big win against Liverpool. Then we'd won 5 in a row, and then suddenly it was like, okay, we've clawed ourselves back into this. Then you build some momentum and you just go, and then you just see where we are. I don't think we're a bad football team. I don't. I think, look, is it an excuse? No. But is the explanation that we've had injuries valid? Yeah, to a degree. I think actually the more valid explanation for why as well we've kind of, we've struggled. We've played poorly. I think we've had really difficult fixtures, and I don't think we've dealt with them very well. But okay, it's happened now. I wish we dealt with it better. I wish we'd looked more ready for it. I wish we'd looked like a team that could deal with all that a bit more maturely. Now we're hopefully going to hit a more favourable run, which is still going to have some really difficult teams in there, and nothing's a given in the Premier League. Win a game, win another, see where you are after 3 wins in a row, and then just see what happens, because football's such a weird old game. And remind everyone that we're a good side, and then go for everything else as well. I don't want us to just fold and act like the season's done because the Premier League's looking difficult. I want us to pick up some of the cups. I want us to, my word, change our reputation in Europe for once, please. So yeah, I'm pissed off where we are in the league, but I still think there's just so much to play for this season.
Can I just finally add as well, something else I think is important in this title race, and why I think it is done for us, is that I said this last season when we got ahead of City, don't underestimate the value of been there and done it. And in this Liverpool team, the advantage they've got over us is they've got players that have been there and done it. This is not a brand new Liverpool team with a brand new manager. It's a new manager, yeah, but this is a team of players. That team that won the title, I mean, a lot of that team is still here playing, and a lot of the starting players, not fringe players, starting players were in that Premier League winning team. We don't have that. We don't have those players.
But that didn't count for anything last season, Jordan.
It didn't, but they were the bare minimum. They were in the race. They were in the race until a month. They were in the race, We're not even in the race at the moment, James.
But then they completely folded.
They was
Like,
5 points in front. They was 5 points in front going into us.
And by the way, I actually say this as a compliment to Liverpool to say that I actually think it's even more impressive what Slot's doing, because I mean, Trent, Van Dijk, and Salah are the only ones that definitely start week in, week out from that squad. The midfield's been completely revamped. Nunes and Diaz weren't there when they won the title. Robertson isn't the same player. Alisson, Alisson as well. So we're talking about 3-4 players, and like I said, I actually think that's what makes what Slot's doing even more impressive. But I get what you mean. You could turn to those senior figures who've been there and done it, like Salah and Van Dijk, but it didn't actually count for much last season for them. And they had a manager that'd been there and done it.
They blew up. They blew up at the last hurdle. But I guess the point I'm making is, even just being in that race, you know, never mind getting over the line. When you've got guys that have been there and done it, that is valuable. And right now, we're not even in that race. And that also is another reason why, at the moment, Liverpool have got to be another notch above us in terms of winning the title. Not only because they've got a 9-point lead, but they've got senior players that know what it's like to get it over the line. If not, push it all the way.
Yeah,
that's my last point.
Yeah. I mean, James is right to mention last season as well. But like you said, if they sniff blood, they got the players that can go in for the kill, and that is the worry. And there's quite a bit of blood.
We could have actually been 9th today if results had gone. Results have gone for us. I know, like saying silly, but you know, Liverpool. Obviously, the Liverpool one didn't, but we could have been 9th, and how many points? Another 7 points off of Man City. So it ain't all doom and gloom. It's doom, but it's not gloom.
I don't know, Lee.
You've just pulled out a piece of shit from the toilet bowl and said, "Here's a rainbow." Like, that's what you've just done.
I think he did, Lee. I think
that's literally what he's done.
Ipswich won, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Exactly that. Like, who'd have thought Spurs would lose to Ipswich today? Like, I'm like, come on, like, you know what I mean? You just don't know.
In better news, Forest dropped points, so we could all sleep easy.
Top 4 race is still on. Listen, let's move into not predictions, but the prediction table. And here's how it's looking, people. Jordan, I was meant to switch around the names, but I didn't. But you could imagine Jordan being top because he is on 18 points. You are top, Jordan, 18 points, 3 correct scores. James is in second, 4 correct scores, 17.
I was going to say, I was wondering how I'd lost a correct score, but yeah, fair. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on 17, second with 4. My word, Jordan's top.
I'm telling you, like, I'm all for a couple points deduction for this lighting.
Jordan's second on my list. Says James.
It's an admin glitch. We'll sort that out. Don't worry about that. We'll sort that out.
Well, what's he do? He just does things deliberately just to wind people up, doesn't he? Like, you know what I mean? He's just a horrible young man.
What's going on here? I don't understand. Just to remind the people, Lee came 3 minutes late to this episode to watch Tottenham. So, do you think he should be deducted a point? Let's not digress too much.
I'm not. How can I be deducted a point when I get on here and nothing's ready? If we like, you know what I mean? You know, it's another 10 minutes before we get started.
Well, I mean, that's Jordan.
There's times when we've been ready and all that, and then you've gone, I've just got to go and make myself a cup of tea.
Yeah, I love my cuppers, man. Even this tea's gone cold here, so I gotta go top up, man. So let's get this over and done with.
I've got to have a bath yet.
Comments of the day? Are we all set?
Bath's at 11 o'clock.
Well, it's gone midnight. I had this comment. A lot of people didn't like my hat in the last podcast.
Oh, I've got that one. Don't say you got the Tintin one.
No.
I've got that one.
Panda Camda said that me and you look like father and son.
Yeah, well, I'll see that one. I thought that was it. And there was the other one saying that you're my idol. That's why he's trying to look like me. But I didn't want to put that one down either.
Yeah, it's also
there was the Home Alone one as well, and the poetry one. It looks like he's and the indie one. Yeah, there was a few for James.
Yeah, it was quite, you know.
It's all right. I read them. It's all fun and games. I mean, I burnt the hat, but there we go.
Really? Why? Did you leave it in Italy?
I chucked it in the bin. They said I look like your son.
That's it. That's done.
Listen,
I can't be a judge.
if you see my son, you'd be happy.
I'm sure. But no, it's a look I won't be adopting, unfortunately. And to be fair, you've copyrighted it, Lee. It's your it's your style. So
No, but you had sort of half that on, didn't you? I thought it was a tea cozy, but there you go. Like, you know what I mean? Origin Nens tea cozy.
I don't know what that is.
That's a famous scene from Snatch as well. Why has he got a tea cozy on his head? When he opens the boot, why has he got a tea cozy on his head?
The tea cozy is a thing of the past, Jack. James doesn't even know what that is. It just shows our age. That does, like, you know? Dear, oh dear.
Go on, get your one.
Must have been a big thing in the
I've
30s.
just got James really looks like Tintin. I quite like that one.
I get called Tintin a lot.
Actually, when you look at it, you know, you could actually get the role of Tintin. And
Well, I
that's
don't
not
think
bad.
this jumper helps actually, because didn't Belgium have a blue and brown kit that was meant to be like it was meant to be something to do with Tintin. I don't know. Carry on. I'll show you.
Great film, by the way.
I've not seen it.
Have you not seen it? Very good.
No.
What, Tintin? I
Recommend
haven't
it.
seen that.
Mm.
Tintin.
Yeah, like that's like half emanate, you know, like half cartoon, half man. But it's good.
So the top was
half
blue.
what? Half what?
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Belgium?
I got it the wrong one. Anyway, yes, I'm Tintin. Cool, very good.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
Yeah, very good. I've got one here from Infinite Injury Time, and he said, "If we're signing players for quote effort, I might as well dust off my boots." I like that one.
Wow.
Fair point.
Wow. There's a little dig at Martinelli there.
I don't know whoever said, you know. Well, I mean, a lot of people do come away from games saying, "Hey, you put in a lot of effort." Talking about most of our players recently, so
Yeah,
it could fall on any player, it could fall on any commentator.
I
Jordan.
don't have a comment. I can't hold my laptop, but I just have one shout out to.
You know what you can do, knowing that for the third show in a row, you can't hold a laptop. You could write it down in that little black book that you used to have and used to open up and chapter and all of that.
Oh,
So
he's
3 in a
looking. He's
row.
looking for. You got to be careful. He's looking at the dock.
You
He's
just
looking
that
to
gets
dock.
put on the dartboard.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's the second yellow.
That's a red. Because
You got the world's worst mic, you got the world's worst internet, you got the world's worst lighting, you got the world's worst background.
people wanted you off. People wanted you off the
James.
pod when
Show
you had a
some
good
love.
camera and a good mic. And now look at what's going on. All hell's gonna break loose in the comments now. They're gonna be on to me saying Turkish replace this guy.
True.
We've had enough. The lighting
Won't
is
be off-
causing
they won't
major
be off
health
in the good
issues.
times.
The mic, I can't hear him properly. Like it's pixelated. Jordan, you've gone backwards. You need to be
homeless.
elevated.
I'm homeless. Like I'm homeless. So help a brother out. The black book's packed away. My laptop I can't hold while I'm holding the phone. You know, I read the.
You're
comments,
both.
I
You're
just haven't
both
got
on
one.
jury. Comment section. Lee Judges and
Wow.
Jordan. I mean, I'm not even asking you should they be deducted a point. I'm asking
this
how
is
many
what I'm
points
saying,
should they
like,
be
you know.
deducted. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, it's 20 past midnight,
Man City.
and I think that's all. Are we good?
Let's round it off there, guys. We're all feeling deflated. I can't believe I'm saying this. I welcome the international break. I think
Yeah,
2
for the
weeks
first
that worrying
time,
about
yes,
this
I'm with you.
bloody football club for a second, and then it's done. You know, and then hope we'll rediscover some enthusiasm because we're fans and we love our football club, and we will rediscover it somehow. And somehow hope will start to slowly grow within us again, and we will get hurt one more time. That's the circle of Arsenal life. It's hope, get hurt, hope, get hurt. We'll rediscover the hope again.
Yeah,
One day we won't be
that's
hurt.
what we do.
That's how it is.
Listen, we're gonna wrap it up there, people. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Go over and support the individual channels. Gooniverse, that's James' channel, doing very well. Quality content. Lee Judges TV also doing well for himself. Big up Dan Potts there. Well, fireworks in the building. Bonfire night not too far gone. James is in the spirit. Big up Jordan. I mean, I would say go subscribe to Whisper It Loudly, but right now I don't know about the quality.
Don't forget reception, will ya?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we pause that
He's
one.
lying in bed. He's lying in bed.
He's actually doing the pod like.
We're finishing.
How can you be? We are
I'll tell you
finishing.
what he
Listen,
does is, I bet we have to check that out, because I bet when he goes to that, he's got proper microphones, he's got this, proper lighting, everything.
of course he
like
does.
that.
Do you think he treats Channel 4 and TalkSport like this?
Yeah.
You lot do me dirty. You lot
Don't
do
worry.
me dirty. You
Don't
lot do
worry.
me dirty.
Cass is in the background. He's seeing the quality. We're gonna have conversations.
Don't sack me, Cass. Don't sack me.
On that
I
note,
need this
people,
job.
love for
Yeah,
the
you're
love.
finished.
Yeah, love for the love. We'll be
Yeah,
back
you're
after
out,
international. We'll be back after well, I say after international break. Nottingham Forest is a 3 p.m. kickoff on the Saturday, so
Have we got
just
a week
under
off
2
now as
weeks
well, then?
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a week off and back again early next week. So look out for that, people. Make sure you're subscribed, show some love to the video, leave your comments, and let us know how many points we're deducting from Lee and Jordan. Peace.
What?